hobby family? It is your boy K-Dub. This is K-Dub's High Five, 5 rapid fire questions with your favorite hobby faces. And today we bring in a local card shop owner, Big Nate's Trading Cards in Gig Harbor, Washington. Yes, repping the Pacific Northwest on the High Five today. How you doing, Nate?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Hey, I'm really excited to hear kind of your card shop journey. It's always fun to get to talk to somebody who's in the hobby business, how it works. 5 questions are all hobby related, some about the shop, some about your own personal collection. Ready to take on the high five?
Let's do it.
All right, man. First question, man. Talk to me a little bit about your shop, Big Nate's Trading Cards. You're on all the social media platforms. I'll link them all in the description, but talk to me a little bit of how that came to be for you as your own trading card shop, Big Nate's Trading Cards.
Yeah, so drew some influences from guys like DJ Sports Cards up in Renton, and
Okay.
was traveling out in South Carolina one day and stumbled upon a card shop that I really enjoyed, called Diamond Heroes, and was just so welcoming. And it was just a great shop. I really enjoyed the atmosphere that I walked into. There were guys breaking boxes
Hmm.
together, and I'd really never seen that besides going in and buying your box and leaving. So yeah, I kind of leaving that trip in 2018 kind of sparked the idea of like, wonder if we could do this on our own. I mean, I had that little dream that all of us have as a kid of like, oh, I want to own a card shop. This would be great. But kind of decided to make a more of a run at it and see what I would need to do to put myself in a place to get to the card shop. So that was where the journey really began.
Now, were you always into sports cards or like, I mean, when did collecting start for you
Collecting
personally?
started when I was like 7 or 8.
Okay.
My mom was an apartment complex manager, and someone had left a unit and they left everything behind. And part of it was 2 flats of basketball cards.
Well,
So
no
that
way.
got my brother and I started on basketball cards. Then we got into baseball,
Yeah.
collected all the way as a kid up until 99 when I pulled
Hmm.
at the time, what I thought was my grail card, which was a Griffey auto out of a retail box.
Yes.
And then 99 to 2012, I kind of got out of it.
Hmm.
Then 2012 jumped back in pretty hard, mainly on baseball, a little football, but really went hard on baseball.
What really brought you back in 2012?
It's going to sound terrible, but Jesus Montero, the Mariners had a prospect that they had traded for, and I thought, man, this would be kind of cool to go after like a Mariner guy that's got some hype behind him. Plus, it was like Trout. You're coming off 2011, where Trout was just a
For sure.
phenom. Yu Darvish, Bryce Harper. So 2012 was the year that I like really dug into the hobby, trying to find some of these guys that were cool. But yeah, that's why there's a gag on Twitter about my Jesus Montero collection, and it's pretty impressive or terrible, however you want to look at it.
I get it, man. I get it. I mean, I could say the same thing about Bishop Sankey. So, man,
Right, right.
well, talk to me a little bit about Big Nate's Trading Cards. When did you launch? Kind of when did you open, and how's it been going in the time you've been open?
Yeah, so we launched at the best time you could, which was about 2 months before a pandemic.
Yeah.
February of 2020 is when we opened.
Wow.
A model of what it is now. We had a little smaller shop on a different part of town. We didn't have a contract with any company, didn't really know what to do besides order from distributors.
Mhm.
And so from there, we just kind of grew it to what it is now, which is a full-time business where we started part-time initially.
Oh,
And
wow.
now we're a Tops MVP Direct, we're Upper Deck Diamond Dealer. And so we've really grown to a spot where we're, feeling more comfortable as a business to be full-time. We're 5 days a week right now, close Mondays and Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And always had a vision of being a shop where you can come in, have a pack cards, rip a beer or rip a pack cards and have a beer. And
Yeah.
that's what we can do now. So we've got a liquor license to the state
Oh,
of
no way.
Washington to be able to sell beer. And that's part of what we do.
Now, when you say we, is are you the sole uh, employee of Big Nate's Trading Cards, or do you have other employees in the company as well?
Yeah, so I'm the sole. It's myself and my wife on the
Okay.
company, and
Nice.
then we have one guy that works also with us.
Cool.
We actually just hired our second guy that is doing like the sorting and eBay style stuff for us. But yeah, so we've got like 2 part-time employees, but for the main part, it's myself running like the day-to-day operation sides of it. But I got two
Cool.
great guys that help out quite a bit.
All right, man. Big Nate's Trading Cards. We're gonna hear a lot more about it. But if you are in the Gig Harbor area, I encourage you guys to check them out. Hey, let's talk a little bit about your influence. Let's start with early collecting for you. You said you started when you were a kid. Who do you feel like influenced you when it comes to like starting to collect sports cards?
Yeah, it was kind of hard. I had a couple neighbors that collected also, but there wasn't that one focal point. I think
Mhm.
that being a kid growing up here, you're looking at two guys. It was like Sean Kemp and Griffey.
Heck yeah.
And as weird as that, it's not like they inspired me to collect cards, but that's the reason that you collect, right? Is to go
Yeah.
after some of your heroes. And so going after cards like that, I grew up in a small town that didn't have a card shop. We had a stamp and coin that had a little bit of cards.
Yeah.
So I was at a stamp and coin, or I was at Albertsons buying my packs of cards.
Yep. Get
So
it.
it was a little different realm of what collecting is now. You know, I see what we offer for kids in the community and for adults
Mm,
as well. It's just a very different environment, but that's really what sparked it. For the card shop wise, though, I already mentioned once DJ up at DJ Sports Cards
for
was
sure.
a influence. Not a lot of people want to give you some information on how to start a card shop,
Well, it's
and
competition, right?
yeah, your
Yeah.
competition. You could be, they don't know what your motives are behind it.
Mm,
So he was very open with me. Card collector too. Ryan was a great
yeah.
guy that offered up some information. He had just started his journey onto his small shop to his big shop,
Yeah.
but he was one of the few people that gave me a very big reply. I actually had a nice conversation with him at the industry summit recently and talked about his influence for it.
Yeah.
And then, like I mentioned, the shop Diamond Heroes, that was another one out there
Yeah.
that was just a great little shop that was awesome,
Mhm.
but it just drew some really big inspiration for me.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I'll have to get if those guys have any social media information, I'll make sure to. I mean, obviously we know Card Collector too, but
Right,
uh,
right.
DJs and what'd you say, Diamond?
Diamond Heroes out in Goose Creek, South Carolina.
There we go. We'll shout them out there. So cool. Well, all right, man. Well, let's talk a little bit about you and your collecting. You said you pulled the Grail card. You pulled a Griffey auto, which come on, there's not a prettier auto in the game.
Right.
But let's go to today, 2024. What's the Grail item for you, my friend? What's the Grail item for Big Nate?
The Big Nate's Grill item is a 94 Upper Deck Griffey Mantle Dual Auto.
Oh yeah,
And
I've seen those.
that
Yeah,
is absolutely my grail. Got close once to getting it, and the deal fell through. With that card, as you know, they did three versions of it. There's a dual
mm,
auto, there's a Mantle auto, and a Griffey auto, and that's probably the most forged card is getting the other signature on there. So that's definitely one that I want to get graded, make sure that it's all authenticated as a good card. But that is like hands down my grail.
is that just? I mean, obviously being a Seattle kid, Griffey is it, man. I mean, he's the guy.
Yeah. It was
Um,
the first card to me that like stood out as not just a card. You know, we grew up in the era where
mm,
cards were cards,
yeah,
until you got to the late 90s and early 2000s with parallels and autographs. But
for
this was a
sure.
card in 94 that was almost ahead of its time. You saw other stuff like Cal Ripken had some autos and stuff, and Frank
Yeah.
Thomas, I believe, had some, but you weren't seeing a card like that that was coming
Mm,
out of it. And to see Beckett when they first announced that this card was in existence was just blew my mind
yeah.
to try to
Yeah.
chase it. And as a kid, I was like, I will never own this card. And now as an adult, I'm like, I'm pretty close. So let's see if we can't find the right one and make it happen. So
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this about your shop.
yeah,
Is there a grail item, or would that be the grail item for your card shop? Card shops kind of, if you can get that item that draws people in,
yeah.
it's going to draw people into your shop. So, is there a grail item in your mind for your shop?
Yeah, I think that would be one as well. I think you can kind of maybe there's multiple grails because sometimes you get eyepieces in the shop that you almost don't want to sell. Not because you don't want to make the money, but because that draws eyes to it. I have a Ichiro rookie card SPX that's graded.
Mm,
I'm okay if that doesn't sell for a long time because it draws people's attention. At one time, we had a King Felix and it spelled out King Felix from the old Upper Deck set,
yeah,
and it
yeah.
just took up a chunk of the shelf, but it always drew eyes to it.
Mm,
I would say the two biggest ones though would be a Julio superfractor of any kind because Julio is really big in the area,
yeah,
and because we're more than a sports card shop, I think a first edition Charizard would be a real eye
yeah,
catcher.
yeah,
We had a first
absolutely.
edition Venusaur Shadowless Hollow in the shop, and was sad to see it go when it left because it always drew eyes to it. So
And I think you're right. I think you hit on something there that it's something about a little bit more than cards. I think of the Jordan rookie. Like
yeah,
for me, like you go into a shop and you see a Jordan rookie, and it just makes you stop and look
yep,
because the card means so much more than just a card on a shelf. Like you said, it's something that catches the attention and the emotions of a person. Obviously, automatically you see that card, and you're taken back to when you were 10 years old, and it was the card to own, and now it's still the card to own. But
oh
uh,
yeah,
like you said, you got a little bit more resources in your pocket. Maybe you can think about it.
right.
Not me, but that's pretty cool, man. So, well, I hope that you find whatever it is now that you lost the Venusaur. Hopefully, you find whatever it is. So,
Oh yeah, always stuff coming in the shop, so we'll get something else in there.
definitely, definitely. All right, man. Well, let's talk about for you. You can rip any product you want over time. What hobby box are you grabbing and why?
So when I first got back into the hobby, 2012, 2013-ish, 5 Star was one of those products that seemed
Mm,
so far away. and that original design where I believe it had 5 autos and then one patch auto in there. So 2012 5-star would probably be my box that I would want to rip, and I would love to rip a case of it, because you've got, second year Trouts, first year
Mm.
Harpers and Darvishes, the Jesus Montero as well. But it's also more than that. Nolan Ryan's a signer, Griffey's a signer. There's a booklet in there that's got Trout and Griffey. So there's all these cards that come out of that product that are absolutely amazing that I would
Yeah.
love to rip a case of that one day.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you can get any of the big names,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
but I mean, to rip a box with only 5 cards.
Yeah, that's why I want to do a case. So
Okay, fair enough. Hey, we're throwing out the rules today, man. I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you would have to, in my opinion, like if you're gonna rip something, I need to get my fingers dirty, man. I need to be thumbing
right.
pretty hard. So
This is
totally
my
get it.
wife and I's argument. She wants packs. I want just the one. That's why I love Bowman Inception or Tops Inception. I just want the one pack to be done.
Fair enough.
She'll take a box of Chrome because there's 20 to 24 packs in there.
Hey, who's the better ripper?
Yeah. Oh, her pull rate is
There you
by
go.
far every good card we've ever pulled has come from her. So it's I just happen to get 50% ownership now. That's
There,
about
there,
it.
there it is, man. But she gets the enjoyment of rubbing it in your face forever and
Oh, all the time. All the time. The Otani auto we pulled, it was hers. It was not mine. So that's
ever.
that's it.
Oh, I love it, man. Well, hey, last question for you. Talk to me a little bit. I mean, I know the conversation right now of card shops in 2024 is a lot different than 2020 and even way different than the 90s. For you being a card shop owner, what are kind of your thoughts as you move forward into 2024 into 2025 being a card shop owner?
I'm really excited about it. Like I said, we're 4 years in, and this is our real first like one calendar year of full time as a shop.
Yeah.
Right before, I'd say about a year and a half, 2 years ago, we got our Tops MVP Direct account,
Mm,
and that kind of changed a lot of things for us. Instead of kind of having to, I don't want to call it scavenge, but deal with multiple distributors and not
yeah,
sure what you were
yeah,
getting and full cases and kind of being at the mercy of them. If there was a hot product, you'd have to buy something else, or it was just not the best scenario sometimes.
yeah.
So I'm excited about it. I love the fact that the MLB, NFL, and NBA license are all going to be under one banner. I know
Mm,
that's probably not everyone that
yeah,
feels that way, but I feel like Panini's taken those two sports into a realm where a kid can't walk into the shop and buy a pack of cards.
yeah,
The fact that Score was what it was 2 years ago or a year ago, where it's almost $20 a pack to buy some Score, and that's an entry level product for kids. And I think Tops has done a good job, and they've realized they've listened to collectors, they've listened to owners as well,
mm,
of shops, to realize that they just can't make every product can't be a $300 box. There has to be some balance in there. And I like how they're going to keep doing what they're doing as far as giving a balance. I think we saw it with Tops Chrome last year, where they
yeah,
took our notice and our complaints about it and realized everything doesn't need to be a $300 box.
for sure.
And I'm happy that they did that. I'm excited about what some of the other things like Pokemon are doing.
Mm,
I see stuff the like in the realm of Magic that makes me concerned, because I think some places like Magic and maybe even Lorcana are printing a little bit too much, and they
okay.
might not last a long time. But overall, I think as a whole, as for the hobby shop, I'm excited for what the remainder of 24 and what we see in 25. Our goal is to get a little bit bigger, so we're looking at possibly expanding what we have, maybe going to a little bit bigger of a shop. We're exploring. We've got our first autograph signing coming up in the shop with Jonathan Classe coming in the shop soon.
Jonathan
Um,
Class A, very cool.
yeah, so we've got that. So we're expanding. We're seeing what we can do here in Gig Harbor, and really letting Tacoma notice that we're here, and we're expanding over into like the Bremerton, Port Orchard,
Yeah.
Silverado area, to let people know that we're just not a little hole in the wall shop, that we're a legitimate card shop that we want people to come to and enjoy themselves and have fun. That's what this hobby's about, right? Is having a lot of fun.
Dude, I love your attitude right now because I feel like the hobby's in a place where, you hear a lot of oh, it's dying, brick and mortars are no more. But man, I just think in my heart, I believe there's always going to be a spot for a local card shop.
Yeah.
And, it seems like for you, you've found that niche in your community, but also, you got your eyes set on bigger and better things as far as expansion goes. So kudos to you, man. Keep it up, man. I'm excited to hear what happens to Big Nate's in the next couple of years.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, man. You made a comment about not knowing what's going to come into your shop. So here's my bonus question, man. What's the craziest thing that's walked in the door of your store?
Oh man. I think early on we had a Pokemon binder that came in,
Okay.
and it was pre-pandemic, and right we held it through the pandemic because we bought beforehand. But I would say that the binder was at one point worth around 500 bucks. And then coming out of the pandemic with all the spikes, probably turned into about a 5, 6 grand binder. So,
Dude,
and there was just tons of first edition
yeah.
shadowless hollows. I mean, it was a crazy binder.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, so I'd say that's probably the craziest one that's come in that really sticks out.
Now, what was in that binder in that house that you cleaned out that got you into collecting?
It was a lot of 91 and 92 NBA hoops. I think maybe
Oops,
even some like
I
90. It was always hoops,
I
always
always
hoops.
I already knew, man. Oh,
Yep.
I
Yep.
love
It's
it,
what
man.
all of us had. And there were flats of it. I think it was
Oh,
3 flats or so of that stuff. So
oh, all right, man. Well, hey, we finished it up. We could list. We got high five. Throw it up at the end. High five. Hey, check out Big Nate's Trading Cards on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter or X. I'll make sure to link all of the information in the description of this video. Also, if you are in Gig Harbor or in that area, check him out. Pop over, say what's up. Tell him K-Dub's High Five sent you, and he'll give you a 5% increase on all of the items you buy. So,
you're over
uh,
21. Beers on me if you mention K Dub.
hey, let's go, man. I'll take it. You better watch out, man. You never know. So,
Right?
also, hey, please subscribe to the channel, Dizzy Dub One. Follow me on Twitter or X at Mr. K-Dub. Shout out to our High Five endorsers, Midwest Box Breaks, as well as LJ's Card Shop over on the other side of the country. Hey, man, this was great. I really appreciate you doing this. I really wish you well in your business, and I will get over there, man, because I got to see this thing in action.
Definitely, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right, y'all take care. We'll catch you guys next time on the next High Five.